Hello everyone, my name is Christian Marshall. This is Life of Cam, my vlog. Welcome back everybody. Today, this is gonna be my second ever vlog, and today I'll be discussing a documentary that I had to watch from a digital media literacy class called Ferguson, a report from occupied territory. Ferguson, a report from occupied territory was a documentary released in 2014 following the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. It was originally directed by Orlando de Guzman and followed the everyday lives of citizens in the hometown of Ferguson, Missouri, before, during, and after the tragic passing of Michael Brown at the hands of police officer Darren Wilson. It also mostly covered the impact that the Black Lives Matter protests and other events of racism and systematic violence against Black people had on the community. One of the biggest takeaways I had from watching the Ferguson report from occupied territory documentary was the fact that the media can often have a significant impact on how somebody views a given story by how they portray it. Because I remember when I was about 12 or 13 years old in 2014, when the Ferguson riots and protests were happening after Michael Brown's death. I remember watching the news with my family, and it was kind of a weird thing because they would, on the television, they would show like burned up cars. Like, I'll show you some pictures around in a second. So pictures of burned up cars in the street and people in riot gear, police in riot gear and masks, and people fighting against them. It was this like Armageddon like scene that they would show on the news every night for I think about 2 weeks. But in reality, if you watch like the full 50-minute documentary, it shows some of those protests, but also shows a lot more of other events and civil discussion they had between the city leaders and the citizens of the town. And like, in a way, it's kind of scary to think about how an event that had so much more to do based around the whole community, how it's kind of shrunk down to simply one or two big moments, and how it can negatively affect the view of people of an event. In the case of Black Lives Matter movement, in this case, like a specific race. One of my biggest takeaways from the documentary was how personal they covered the daily lives and activities that the Ferguson civilians had to deal with. Like, they covered the racism in the police system of the town, outside of just the Black Lives Matter movement and the killings, which were terrible in itself, but they also covered like the things that happened in the day-to-day that were systematically oppressing the Black people of Ferguson. Like, for example, they talked about the municipal court system and how the counties lined up to where like every 100 some feet or something like that, they become a new county, and would lead to all types of tax violations for cars and fines that would all add up and impact the low-income citizens of the town. Like, they said that people, like 2 Black teenagers were fined $500 for jaywalking. Like, me personally, on like almost a daily basis, I jaywalk to get to class when I don't get to the crosswalk in time. If that happened to me, I would run out of money by the end of the week, and that was happening to those people in that town every day. That's truly heartbreaking when you think about how still in the United States, there's still places throughout the entire country where Black people are systematically oppressed by the government, by their own leadership that's supposed to help them and help facilitate how they live, and instead it's hurting them. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the Ferguson Report from Occupied Territory documentary. If you found any of that interesting or want to watch documentary, I'll put the link down below in the description so you can go check that out. It's a pretty long documentary, but I thought it was pretty interesting. If you want to check out my last vlog, I'm probably also put it in the description below, or probably just put it up there somewhere. So yeah, if you want to check that out too, I would much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Peace.